Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Blitz Sports Media. I'm Ryan Linkletter, and we are back on the Blitz angle today, going over all of the previews for the Saturday and Sunday games in Week 17, going over all these matchups to give you guys betting advice, predictions, whatever you guys need heading into these games. I got it for you guys. We're missing Brady Penn for one more episode. He will be back on the live stream Sunday. If you guys didn't know, we always go live Sunday post-game, Sunday Night Football, and then Monday post-game, Monday Night Football, answering all your guys' hot takes down in the chat below. So if you guys are looking at that, go give us a follow on Twitter, BlitzSM_, and we will catch you guys on the next live stream. Let's get right into this, and we'll start with the first Saturday game between the Los Angeles Chargers and the New England Patriots. This is going to be a tighter game than I think a lot of people expect here. The Chargers defense has struggled a lot in the last 2 weeks, 86 points allowed, over 800 total yards allowed, and the Patriots gave the Bills a tough fight. And, last week was a close game. The Chargers are looking to maintain their position in the playoff race and are fighting for seeding right now. Obviously, in the AFC, you do want to get a game against the Houston Texans versus facing the Baltimore Ravens or the Buffalo Bills potentially in the first round right now of the playoffs. So I think that's very imperative for the Chargers. I really think Ladd McConkey is going to be in for a big day for the Chargers in the slot. He's dominated against man coverage. He has 133 passer rating when targeted against man coverage this year. He won't draw Christian Gonzalez. Quentin Johnston will. I do like Quentin Johnston unders, Ladd McConkey overs. We'll see what we get from J.K. Dobbins. If he's in, he's a good anytime touchdown sprinkle. I do think on the other side of things, Drake May will be in for a solid day passing with the Chargers defense struggling as of late, could have a high volume if the Chargers get out to an early lead. I like the Chargers in this one, 27-21. Let's get to our next matchup, Denver Broncos at the Cincinnati Bengals. This game is a lot, folks. We got a lot of stuff riding on this line, and it's interesting because the Broncos still have a big lead on the Bengals here heading into things, and it would basically be a massive choke to see the Denver Broncos miss the playoffs, and the Cincinnati Bengals are playing with house money. They feel like they've been out of it for weeks, and now are just playing football a little bit more loose and freely, and that's helped them get a little bit of a winning streak and get to the position they are. Now, if they win this game, things will become interesting with the Chiefs resting their starters, potentially in Week 18. We'll see what happens. All in all, though, I do think as the Cincinnati Bengals, you go out here and expect to blow this team through the waters with your high-powered offense, and you need that defense to play at least average football. I do think they are going to play average football. I got the Bengals 31-24 in this one. I think Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase have a good day. T. Higgins, don't necessarily love his line. Chase Brown will have a nice day. On the Denver Broncos side, I do like Bo Nix over 1.5 passing touchdowns in this one. This could be a high-scoring match. And the biggest beneficiary of that will be Courtland Sutton. Arizona Cardinals at the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are looking to maintain pace right now. Obviously, it's all going to come down to next week against the Seahawks, but a win here would go a long ways in helping them as far as playoff positioning and, locking up a nice seed in the playoffs. The Rams are facing the Cardinals now, and they're hot, and the Cardinals are starting to cool off. Cardinals officially eliminated. Cardinals defense the last 2 weeks has completely regressed after showing a lot of signs of life in the middle of the season, but here we are. They're struggling right now in defense. The Rams offense, though, is struggling, and this will be a nice get-back game for them. I think Cooper Kupp has a nice day. I think Kyron Williams has a nice day on the ground. And on the Cardinals side of things, if they don't have James Conner going this one, I think it could get pretty ugly here, but I got the Rams 23-20 in this matchup. Let's get to the toilet bowl matchup of the week. Indianapolis Colts versus the New York Giants. I got the Colts 28-13 in this matchup. They're going to be able to run the ball all over the New York Giants. I think this is a for sure 2-score game in this matchup. Jonathan Taylor should be in for a big day. I know Anthony Richardson hasn't practiced all week. That could lead to a Joe Flacco legacy game through the air against a bad Giants defense. On the Giants side of things, I do like Tyrone Tracy's over props in receiving in this matchup. He's been dominating as a receiver as of late. They're going to be down by multiple scores. It's going to be a nice game for him as well. I got the Colts 28-13 in this matchup. New York Jets at the Buffalo Bills. The Jets actually played the Bills decently last time. The Bills were able to walk away with a dub. Jets have been playing solid football in these close games against better competition here as of late. Although it hasn't made them a good team by any means, at least they're a little frisky at this point. But against the Bills, Josh Allen needs a good performance to lock up this MVP with the way Lamar is playing right now. I do think he does have a nice day. I think the Bills get 28 points. Allen throws for 3 touchdowns in this game. I do like him over 1.5 touchdowns with potentially a rushing touchdown. I am interested to see if his right hand and his elbow, whatever he went through last week, how that will affect him this week. I'm interested to see that. I do think they need to get Khalil Shakir back involved, potentially even sprinkle in a little more Amari Cooper than they have as of late. And then on New York side of things, I mean, they're playing for pride at this point. So we'll see what we get from a bunch of aging vets on the Jets side of things. I got Buffalo 28-17 in this matchup. Another toilet bowl game here, the Tennessee Titans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. I got the Jags 13-10 in this one. This is going to be an ugly, low-scoring battle. And I think what I am most interested to watch in this one is Chig go to work. Chig is in for a beautiful matchup against that Jaguars defense. He has been Mason Rudolph's favorite target as of late and should receive a healthy workload here in Week 17. Although this game is not necessarily meaningful in terms of the standings, this is a huge game in terms of seeding for that number 1 overall pick next year. Whoever wins this game, obviously, not going to have as good of a draft pick position. So I don't know. I think we get an ugly, low-scoring game where both teams play sloppy football heading into next season. The next matchup we got in here is the Raiders versus the Saints. I got the Raiders in this one. I think the Raiders are playing a little bit better than people think right now with Aiden O'Connell under center. Obviously, with Desmond Ridder under center, you're going to get an absolute disaster on a weekly basis. But with O'Connell back there, they're actually formidable on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think that they're going to blow anybody out by the water, but I think they're formidable. On the Saints side of things, I do get Chris Olave back, which is encouraging, but I don't necessarily think that's a needle mover for me right now. With Spencer Rattler at quarterback, I mean, we saw him last week against Green Bay be absolutely abysmal. This is disgusting, a low-scoring game in this one. I got it Raiders 14-10 in I'm just going to say an matchup. Panthers at the Bucs. This was a great game last time where we saw the Bucs win it in OT. This is a must-win for the Bucs here with the Falcons, leading the division now due to that tiebreaker that they own of the Buccaneers. I don't know, guys. I just think Tampa Bay is too good to stop against Carolina this week. Carolina Panthers defense is just not it, folks. They are one of the worst pass defenses, one of the worst run defenses. I think Baker, Bucky, Mike Evans, all in for big days against this weak Panthers defense. And on the Panthers side of things, Bryce Young better be ready to play. He's going to need a nice game if he's going to be able to go take down the Bucs, who are fighting for their playoff lives right now. In this one, it does feel like a trap game for the Bucs, potentially looking ahead to that final matchup last week to clinch it up. But I got the Bucs 27-24 in what should be a very tight game in this one. The Dallas Cowboys at the Philadelphia Eagles. This game's lost a little bit of luster with CeeDee Lamb out, and obviously Jalen Hurts out. It is going to be an ugly, low-scoring game with a lot of running. And I do expect Saquon Barkley to have a nice day against a Cowboys defense that they need a little bit more credit than they've gotten here in the last few weeks. They played very good, and it's kept them in games, and now they've been very competitive and pulling off some upsets here. So I think the Cowboys are a little bit better than people think. Could potentially be a trap game for Philadelphia, but I think their defense is going to be too overpowering for Cooper Rush with no CeeDee Lamb, and their second best option right now is Rico Dowdle, who was limited last week against the Bucs against a pretty good rush defense. So I think overall in this one, I fully expect the Philadelphia Eagles to take care of business against the Dallas Cowboys. I do not like Jake Ferguson overs. I know people are going to think that Fergie is going to slot in as a solid beneficiary of the CeeDee Lamb being out, but I'm not buying it. I think Fergie is in for a rough matchup against one of the toughest matchups for tight ends this year. Miami Dolphins at the Cleveland Browns. I'm taking the Dolphins in this one, folks. DTR is a horrible NFL quarterback, guys. He might actually be worse than Desmond Ridder. I don't know. It's a tight competition. I'd love to see him in the CFL next year and battle it out. But on Miami side of things, basically out of the playoff race now. I don't know if they even mathematically have a chance right now. At this second, I'm interested to see what happens. The drama between Tyreek Hill and the team is starting to heat up. I saw him posting a Snapchat story today, him in a Chargers uniform, which is definitely interesting, considering the fact that Miami has actually been very formidable with Tua at quarterback this year. On Cleveland's side of things, this is a big game in terms of seeding for them for that number 1 overall pick. Both teams, just trending in different directions right now. Dolphins kind of stuck in mediocrity, and the Cleveland Browns looking for a high draft pick to change the franchise next year. So we'll see what we get. I think Miami in this one takes the game. I think Tyreek Hill does have a better game, as the conditions are supposed to be ugly. So expect a lot of Devon Achane and Jonnu Smith in this one as well. Jerome Ford could have a nice day with the dump offs, but no Jerry Jeudy for me overs on this one. I'm taking the Dolphins 21-13. Green Bay Packers at the Minnesota Vikings. Folks, this is going to be a great matchup between two teams battling out. The Vikings obviously are in a big spot here, who still have a chance of the 1 seed, are tied up with Detroit right now for the lead in the division and in the conference. So I think Green Bay coming in has really struggled against these teams above 500 this year. We saw them lose to the Vikings earlier this season, but they got in a massive deficit early in that one, and then were able to come back and make it a close game. The Vikings continue to win these low-scoring, one-score games where they just continue to take care of business. Sam Darnold's been really good. I do think we get a little bit more higher scoring than many expect in this one, despite both teams having solid run defenses, solid pass rushes, but the secondaries have struggled this year. So I think Jettas, Addison, Jaden Reed, Romeo Dobbs, Tucker Kraft, all in for good days in this matchup. Josh Jacobs, Aaron Jones could be a little bit downgraded in terms of what they produced this year, but I think it's going to be a great game, one of the best games of the week. And I got the Packers coming out 28-27 in an upset win in the NFC North matchup. Falcons at Commanders. This game is massive for seeding, folks. Falcons are looking to stay in that playoff race. The Commanders obviously are looking to just make themselves play that NFC West team or NFC East team in that playoff race. We'll see what we get. The Falcons, obviously, Michael Penix Jr. took over against the Giants last week. They had 2 defensive touchdowns that definitely contributed, with the Kyle Pitts basically handing the ball to the other team interception. By the way, I hate Kyle Pitts overs this week. Do not do it. But yeah, Michael Penix Jr., we'll get a better look at him in a close matchup. It will not be a blowout. We'll see if his arm can carry the Falcons to a win like Kirk hasn't been able to do over the last 2 months. And on the Commanders side of things, they need to ride that momentum after last week. We were always talking about the Commanders trending in the wrong direction, not a second-half team, whatever it was. They've proved us wrong here in the last 2 weeks. I'm interested to see if they continue this trend and then keep building momentum for the playoffs. They could be a sneaky team and give some people some headaches come January. I got the Commanders in this one, though, 30-20. The final matchup of the week, the Detroit Lions at the San Francisco 49ers. This is going to be a good matchup, folks. I know the 49ers are not the same team they used to be, but the Lions defense has struggled as of late. They have nobody healthy on that side of the ball. The 49ers should be able to scheme a lot of routes open against a very poor Detroit Lions secondary at the moment. What I will say on the Detroit Lions side of things, they're going to be able to run the ball well. Jameer Gibbs is going to be in for a monster day. I got the Detroit Lions walking away in this one 27-24, but it's going to be a great matchup. I really do think Detroit is going to be on upset watch with the way San Francisco can move the ball against them this week. All in all, though, guys, those are my picks for Week 17 in the NFL. We're going to see how that playoff picture shakes out this week. Let me know down below if you guys got any big upsets, need any sort of fantasy advice, betting advice, whatever y'all need. Drop it down below. Hit that subscribe button for more Blitz Sports Media content, and me and Brady will catch you guys next time.